Hello, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, the housekeeping notes. In the description below will be all the product I use and all the dimensions. There is a link to my online store if you need a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'd love to be yours. My email address is below as well. If you have any questions or want to see something made on this channel, please let me know. Finally, there is a link to my Facebook group. We'd love to have you join that. You are more than welcome to share your projects that you make on that channel. Finally, please remember to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube to help me grow in YouTube world. So, we are going to be using a stamp set. It's called Lasting Joy. Lasting Joy is a standalone stamp set, but it does go with Countryside Inn suite. The flowers and stuff match the paper, and I'll show you that in a moment. So what we're making today is we have a cute little envelope, and we have this card here, and it opens like this. And this is using the Countryside, what are they called? Covered up the label. It's called this Countryside Corner Dies, and we're going to be using that. I'm going to show you how to get this to be attached. But if you can see the paper here, and we can look on the stamp set. I think it might be easier. I get the glare away from the stamp set. If you look at the flowers here, and like these guys here, they match the paper. And the little leaves. So that's why I say this really goes with it, and the verses are really quite nice. So, enough of my mumbling. Let's get on with the project. So, the dies we're going to be using out of this, we are using the third and the fourth one in. So, I'll pull those out so we have them ready to go. And get some supplies out here. Not a lot of supplies to this card. So we have our envelope. I've already pre-cut 2 of the smaller labels here from this die of white, and I started with 4 by 2.5 inch pieces of paper. You need 2 of those. Set those off to the side. And this, because we're not going to do our stamping quite yet. And then you need a piece of, this is Misty Moonlight. It is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Get that burnish. You're going to need a piece of designer paper that's 4 by 5 1/4. If it is directional, make sure you've got your directions and your bunnies, if you're using this paper, are going the right direction. We do not want upside down bunnies. And this is Boho Blue, and you need a piece that is 8.5 by 2 7/8. And we're going to score that one and together, and then we'll cut it. And that's scored at 4 1/4. So let's go ahead and score this piece, and then we'll do some cutting, and then we'll do some, and my trimmer's upside down. So we're going to score this at 4 1/4. I don't know why I didn't pre-score it, but I didn't. So we'll set that aside for a second while we cut. And as usual, I haven't put my glasses on, so I will do that so I can measure. All right, so when you're looking at your card, you want to fold it open because you're going to be cutting on an angle this direction. So line up the score mark to the corner. Just like that. And cut. A little extra paper, save it for something else. And we have our nice angle. Now, when you look at the DSP, you want to make sure you're going up and down if it's directional. If it's not directional, it doesn't matter. And you're going to be cutting this. You want to cut it the same angle as you cut your card. So we went this direction. Just pay attention to your angles, and you're going to go from corner to corner. And I'm going to start in the middle because I don't want to squish the ends of my DSP. And we're going to use both of those pieces in a few minutes. Okay? So that is the end of this part. Now you need a cut and emboss machine. We're going to use a little cranky today. And what you're going to want to do with this piece here, if I don't drop it anymore, is go ahead and fold and burnish it really well. Then you're going to take your larger die. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting this die, and I'm going to flip it over so you can see. We want to put that cutting edge so it is just above where the fold line is. That way we'll keep our fold intact and we won't cut it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of tape here. This is just crafter's tape. I could use the Post-its, but this is 2 thicknesses and I'm just making it a little less sticky. And make sure that you're lining up almost right here at the edge. And then I'm going to put a piece, and I'm going to the outside of my project to hold this in place so we don't have it on this part in case it decides to rip my paper. Then we're going to put it on our machine. I recommend putting the piece that has the fold up here. It shouldn't make a difference, but I usually try to do that if possible. And through a little cranky we go. And let me get this out of here. Oh, that's why I did it, because I knew it was going to rip the paper. So when you open this, it'll open like that and gives us our little panel for the front of our card. And that is it for die cutting. Now we do need to do some stamping, but before we do stamping, if you come back to this card, this is Baker's Twine. Boho Blue Baker's Twine. We don't have Boho Blue. We need to make some. So I'm going to grab me a piece of scratch paper. I'm going to grab my dark. Did I use my dark or my light? I'm trying to remember. I used my light. Sorry. I wanted to keep it light. And Baker's Twine. Sorry, I had to think about what I was doing. And you need enough that you can wrap around and cut. So about like that. Now mine is on a different style of roll because it's an older style. They come in a different style right now, but it's still white Baker's Twine. But I have like 3 or 4 rolls of that one, so I'm going to continue using. I'm going to take my flat edge, my big one, and I'm just going to sit here and just like you would on ribbon. I'm just going across, and I don't care if I hit all of it. I want it a little on the lighter side and a little white here and there. Does not make any difference to me. Just like that. So it's not blue, but it's got blue in it. You could use dark if you wanted, but I wanted to go lighter. And it takes a minute for it to dry, so I'm just going to set it off to the side until we're done stamping. Okay, so stamping time. We need 2 pieces of the smaller one I cut, one for the inside and one for the outside. We are going to need a little stamping mat. And we're going to use 3 stamps. And, oh, let's not forget our envelope while we're doing this too. Okay, so first we're going to do our birthday wishes. And I'm going to do that in Misty Moonlight. And also turn it the right direction. And towards the top. just like that. And that's all the Misty Moonlight we need. Next, we're going to use Balmy Blue. And we're going to stamp a few flowers. We're going to stamp these about this direction. I'm going to rotate this and put these about there. I'm going to put a little batch of flowers right here, like that, and make sure my envelope's going the right way. And we'll put a little batch of flowers here. Okay, and that is for the Balmy Blue. Now, this is the little leaves. And so you can see those. These little leaves actually line up with this. So we're going to use Boho Blue for our leaves. And I want to make sure I've got this lined up the right way. So the biggest flower, the bottom leaves attached to that. And then if you turn it, the top leaves pretty much line up with the other ones. It takes a minute to figure it out, but it does work. Like that. So that's that one. And just gonna line it up like that. And then these, we got extras here. We've got 2 on this one. Like that. I overlapped a little bit, but that's okay. So we're going to flip around. Trying to keep my head out of here, but I got to get a little closer. And turn it a little more. There we go. It's like I said, they're tiny, and so you have to take a minute to line them up, but it does work. So next we're going to grab our ribbon we just did. And I know there's a little dot of blue on there, but I'm not going to worry about it. This is our baker's twine. And I'm going to take just a tad, a little bit of seal. Look where I'm going. Just putting a little bit right there. And make sure I leave enough to tie. Now this one I'm going to wrap around a couple times. I didn't wrap the other one around a couple times, and I wish I had of. So this one we will. And then I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to pull this right under both of those. Hold my ribbon together there. There we go. And now I can tie my bow. And make it smaller. This one does not need a big bow. About like that. And I could pull these apart a little bit here so you can see them. You can fussy around and spread them out as far as you want or as close as you want, but I want about like that. I do want my bow over a little bit more. There we go. I didn't want it quite centered. And we'll give it a little haircut. That way I have a boho blue and white bow. So we need to put the card together now. So on the card front, we are going to put the bunny page here. I know that one's almost empty. you've seen me do corners before, I'm just dragging glue. I'm not pressing glue, but I'm dragging glue right up into a little bit of glue right onto the corner, because you don't want the corners to be popping up on you. If you line up at the bottom and then go to the top, you should have a nice border around it. Now this one is going to go here like this. And we'll do the same thing. We'll put glue on it. Now I'll just take a little bit of glue and drag it. Oop, I didn't get enough down here. I don't have enough to drag. I'll put a little more. You leave this close so you can see where you're lining up. Try to get all your borders pretty even. Like that. Okay. So this is the piece we cut. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and put our insides in. And it's a really big border, but I like it. And then we're going to put this in. Now you want to center this as close to center as possible. And what I was doing, I was taking this corner here and lining it up with the edge of this corner. I thought I made it look rather nice. I'm trying to make sure I'm square in the middle. So that's about where I want it. You just have to sort of eyeball it. Then you got to put glue on the back. And I'm going to open this back up a little bit. And line this up. So basically this corner to this corner is what I'm using. So these two corners line up like this. That's that part. And then this is going to go on the front with some dimensionals. And if everybody wants to keep on popping open, give everybody another burnish. One up here. That looks good. And I went for some bling. You decided to use, oh, I grabbed the wrong, no I didn't. I thought I grabbed the wrong ones. These are the Adhesive-Backed Solid Gems. And this is Lemon Lolly here. They're faceted, so they're really nice. And we're going to use several different sizes. We're going to use mediums and smalls. So inside the small flowers, you could have used the blue, but I wanted to add another color to this card besides blue and white. So you got some small ones. And then we'll put 3 medium ones in here. Now this one could be medium or small, so I'm going to go this way. And then, of course, it's got flowers, and it's for somebody's birthday, so a brass butterfly. You know I like the brass butterflies. I'll put this right at the top. And that is our card. Like I said, it was a very simple card today, but I think it's very pretty, and I think anybody would be happy to receive that birthday card. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you on Wednesday. I have no idea what I'm doing on Wednesday yet. Oh well, we'll find out when we get to Wednesday. I'll talk to you later, and thank you for joining me. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.